It's a weird time and a great time, and we are riddled with opportunity right now to grow our businesses. Some people have the mindset of scarcity. Where in the world am I going to get business? How am I going to find listings? Why would somebody ever think about selling their house right now? Well, we are going to walk you through all those things and more. My name is Erik Hatch of Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching, based out of Fargo, North Dakota, and we are serving the real estate industry across North America. And I have 10, count them, 10 things for you right now that will help you win more listings in this changing market. 10 things you need to know. So please take out your typewriter, take out your short form writing documents. I don't even know what that is. My mom used to write shorthand. Anybody's parents ever write shorthand? My mom used to write shorthand. So she was able to scribble down in real time. Such an incredible woman she was. Weird thing for me to get off on a tangent for, but I'm going to get back on the tangent because we are here to help you with 10 ways to win more listings in this changing market. To give you perspective, my team and I last year sold 1,023 homes, making us the number 35 real estate team in the country. I do that working 1 day a week in that business. The other 4 days a week, I spend my time in coaching and I spend my time growing Real, the brokerage that I'm a part of. And so we're giving all this stuff to our coaching clients on a regular basis. We're giving all this stuff to our team always, and we're giving this stuff to people over at Real, but we are giving it away for free in today's webinar as well. And so these 10 things I want to encourage you to write down. We're going to start with number one. I have no slides. I got just a bunch of language coming at you. So let's start with number one. We have to know it to win more listings in a changing market. Number one is we have to know, what does a seller want? So write down, what does a seller want? And I want to give you a little backstory. Okay. I asked this on Facebook like 4 or 5 years ago, and the message has stayed true. I think that the iteration has adjusted just a little bit, and yet the message still stays true. I asked realtor friends and people in the industry, please don't answer. Everybody else, if you're considering selling your house, what's the number one factor that you look for in hiring a realtor? Number one, that you work with the most award-winning, recognized, and decorated realtor in your area. Number two, that you work with somebody with a proven system to get you the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And then number three, you work with somebody that treats you as though you are their only client. I had over 100 people answer, and nobody, and I mean nobody, said number one. Number one was the most award-winning and recognizable realtor. So let's think about how we market and how we advertise and how we sell our value. We think that our awards and our trophies matter, but they don't at all. The consumer gives zero craps about it. They understand that may be a byproduct of being great at what you do, but the consumer doesn't care. It's not a big deal to them. The second one got about 20%. Number two was a proven system with the most amount of money and the least amount of time. And that's what most of us lean into, is this proven system. We think that that is our value proposition, when realistically, number three, 80% of consumers said, I want to be treated as though I am your only client and I get exemplary service. See, let's think about the disc profile for a moment, okay? Because we have to know who the sellers are so that we can serve them mightily. Our job is to mirror and match. 3% of the world are high Ds, 11% are high Is, 17% are high Cs, and the other 67% are, the other 69% are high S's. Sorry, 67% are high S's, 19% are high Cs. So with all that being said, you can tell I'm not a high C because I got the detail wrong. The majority of the world, 69% are S's, 11% are Is. That's 80% of people. They want to be better taken care of than they need top dollar. In fact, this was validated by Zillow a couple of years ago. Zillow did a study on the number 1, 2, and 3 stressors that sellers face. And they found out that selling a home is oftentimes more stressful than getting divorced. Holy Hannah, that is a slap in the face to say, oh my gosh, we have to do better. And this is what Zillow found out. This is worth writing down, I promise you. The number one stressor is not money. The number one stressor is uncertainty. Uncertainty is the number one stressor for home sellers. Number two, interruptions. When is their home going to be shown? How often do they have to live in disarray? That is a question that rings true. Number three is money. How much cash are they going to get out of it? And yet we go back to the Facebook question that I had, and we have to understand, what does a seller want? If you're going to get more listings in the future, you have to understand what the consumer wants. So your communication matters an awful lot, and we have to be great at it all, but we have to do such an intentional and perfect job at understanding what the consumer wants. The high S's and the high I's, they want to feel like they're their only clients, and the things that they're afraid of are uncertainty and interruptions. The high D's and high C's, they want a proven system and they care about money mostly, but you have to understand who your target market is. If that makes sense, you can just nod at your computer right now and be like, Eric, you're crushing so far. And I'll say, hey, thanks a lot. Super nice of you to give me that great feedback, because we're going to go to number 2 now. Actually, no, we're going to stay on number 1. Look at this. I have some notes. Let's stay on number 1. I have 4 questions that you should ask at a listing appointment. If we want to know what a seller wants, there are 4 questions that you should ask. Please write these down. They will be massively helpful for you. See, I think most of us talk at people instead of talking with people. And the most valuable thing you can do is to take notes at your listing appointment. Everything they say, write down. Be the most interested person that asks the right questions. 4 of my favorite questions to ask are this. Number 1, what does great marketing look like for you? I promise you, other realtors are going in and telling you, this is what I'm going to do to market your house. I'm going to take a virtual tour, and I'm going to put it on the MLS, and I'm going to post it on Zillow, and I'm going to do an open house. Like, we tell people what we're going to do, but it's far better to say, what does great marketing look like for you? Number 2, what does great servicing look like for you? Remember, 80% of people want to feel like they're your only client. And so you should ask that question. What does great servicing look like? Number 3, what does great communication look like for you? Because you can go off and say, hey, I'll contact you after every showing and try to get feedback, or I'll work on getting feedback after every showing, and I'll contact you once a week, and my admin's going to be the one that calls you, like blah, 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 talk. Ask questions, don't make statements. And so if you want to find out what a seller wants, ask them what they want. Gang, if you're looking for a magic pill here, I have no magic pills for you. I only have the fundamentals that will help you grow something absolutely sensational. And finally, number 4, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how would I let you down in this relationship? How would I let you down in this relationship? See, if you want to find out what a seller wants, you have to ask those questions. Those are my 4 favorite questions to ask at a listing appointment. But I got 10 things to go through here on how to win more listings in this changing market. We've covered number 1. Number 2 is where do you find sellers? That's the topic. Where are you going to get people to sell? I have 3 areas that I think you can find sellers right now: expireds, FSBOs, and PCSOI. Those of you newer to the industry, an expired listing is something that was listed previously and now, or at least in the last recent while, has come off the market. They were unable to sell. Expireds are ripe with opportunity. FSBOs, for sale by owners, those are sellers trying to go at it themselves. We've seen stats over and over again as realtors that say that FSBOs make less than 90% of what a traditional listing will make. And so going after those 2, there is massive strategy and intention, but that's not where I want to spend my time here. I want to talk about PCSOI, that's past clients and sphere of influence. This, I believe, is your largest honeypot for opportunity. And I want to give you a stolen text message. I heard another coaching company bring this up, and I thought that's really good. Props to them. And so I want to share that with you. There's nothing proprietary here, but it's the idea that we have to get ourselves unstuck right now. We have to take the action. And so for me, I love custom text messages. I think that general rip off and duplicate, copy and paste text messages, super irresponsible for people that know, like, and trust you. Your past clients and sphere of influence, they know, like, and trust you. And so if you're spamming them, or you're just sending automated emails and you're sending automated texts, they're pissed at you. This is a custom journey for how to help them to win. So here's what the text is. Here's the header. This market is wild, exclamation point. So write out, this market is wild. Zillow says that your home is estimated at I just looked at my house. My house is estimated at $788,000 today. I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. Do you want me to get you a more accurate number? So here's the text message. This market is wild. Zillow says that your home is estimated at, and then insert the actual amount. You can just go online and look at that, or you can use HomeBot, or you can use all these other sources, figure out what that is. So Zillow says your home is estimated at blank, or a tool I have has your home estimated at $788,000. I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. Do you want a more accurate number? You see how that's engaging in the conversation and starting it up? I think that every seller right now wants to know what their home is worth. We didn't say that this market's crashing. We didn't say that this market is in trouble. We said the market is wild right now. Is it not? Is it not a wild market as I record this on November 1st, 2022? It is a wild time. We're coming off of a COVID hangover now, and interest rates are shooting up, and we're trying to find our way. And so because of all that, send that text message out. I'd schedule 20 or 30 a day, do the work in the non-texting time, but then send those out and watch the response. See the response that you get from people. Put their name in there. Like I would say, Amanda, oh my gosh, this market is wild. Zillow says that yours and Brady's house is currently worth $788,000. I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. Do you want a more accurate number? You mean you actually have to contact people to get listings? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So we've covered number one. We've covered number two. Let's go through number three. Have a USP. USP, that is a unique selling proposition. Oh, this is so important and so rarely done for consumers or for realtors. This USP, people have gotten away from in the last 2.5 years because, well, frankly, fish have jumped in the boat. It has been an easier go of it. And so because of all this, oh my gosh, how in the world are we going to get more sellers? Well, we have to have a coupon. We have to have a call to action. We have to have something that makes us stand out from the crowd. And I will tell you this. Some of you believe that your USP is, I really care about you. I'm going to work really hard for you. And although those may be true, does that spur someone to action? Does that make you stand out? Because right now, this is separation season. This is the time that we can separate ourselves from the people who have been the mouth-breathing, space-filling realtors that have jumped into the industry and those that are excelling and going above and beyond. This is our opportunity time, those of us that are choosing to lean in and to crush. So I want to give you some examples of unique selling propositions. There's the guaranteed sale or a guaranteed offer. Either way, you have seen these advertisements from other realtors, and sometimes it's pushed back, but I got to tell you, it makes the phone ring. It gets sellers to reach out and say, well, this is something unique. And so there is opportunity with a guaranteed sale or a guaranteed offer. If you don't know those details, I'm not going to go through it all right now. Google it. You'll find out more than you need to know. What we at Hatch Realty choose to do is we offer a menu of service. We give people choices. Here are the 4 choices that we give, and you can go to hatchrealty.com and take a look at these. But there's 4 choices that we give. Number 1, traditional sale, right? If you want to have maximum dollars in your pocket, a traditional sale is really great for you. But the exact penultimate of that is you can have maximum convenience with our SNAP offer program. That's you choosing to sell direct to an investor. No headache, no hassle. You don't have to do any fix-ups. You can leave all your stuff there if you want. You don't have to have any showings, no interruptions. You pick the closing date. There's no fees associated with it. You simply get the price that an investor is willing to pay. Gang, I happen to be that investor, and I buy about 20 of these houses from our sellers each year, but I get about 100 listing leads because of it. So if I do out of every 5, one of the 5 will sell with me. One of the 5 will choose to list traditionally, and the other 3 of the 5, they sit in purgatory, where we now have new seller leads that we're dripping on consistently. So 2 ends of the spectrum, right? We have our traditional listing, which is maximum value, and we have our SNAP offer, which is maximum convenience. Gang, if you don't have the ability to buy houses and flip them, I promise you there are wholesalers in your market that are ready to do that. You don't have to be the one to buy it. You just need to play the intermediary and introduce them. But we have two other offers. We have an opportunity for you to buy before you sell. To go to our website, you can check that out. Buy before you sell. And then I have a $10,000 gift that I will give to people. It's a loan. I just need them to pay back. There's no interest or anything else. I'll pay them 10 grand for them to fix up their house so that it'll sell for more. And I'll tell you, every single time somebody takes my 10 grand, it turns into 30 or 40 extra $1,000 for them. So that is my USP. We give people options and opportunities. I know what makes me unique in my market, and it's not the size of my team, and it's not the fact that I'm just going to treat you really well. Those should be standards in our industries, that we treat people well. My unique selling proposition that we advertise all over is that you have choices, maximum convenience or maximum value. Which one is best for you? I think people want choices, don't they? They want to know, like, well, I was going to list my home traditionally, but I'm just curious what an investor will pay for it right now. So these USPs are super important. You can also do a, if I can't sell your house, I'll sell it for free. There's terms and conditions that will apply. And then I have a coaching client. His name's Chase. I was just talking with him this morning, and Chase said to me, you know what? He does fix ups. He does all this extra stuff to different clients' properties because he's super handy. And so if you have a new driveway that needs to be poured, he's getting dirty with you. If you have a deck that needs to be fixed up, he's helping you do that. Like he's the down and dirty realtor, right? He knows what his unique selling proposition is. Emily asked this question of, how does the buy before you sell option work? I'll tell you that the buy before you sell option is I give you an offer on your house that I don't want you to take. Like, you need to take right now. I usually offer 85 cents on the dollar. So say it's a $300,000 house. My offer is for $255,000, right? I'm taking 15% off of that. I'll offer you for $255,000, and you have to be willing to take that. Now, you can then go and purchase your house, and you don't have that contingency that you still need to get an offer accepted on your place. When that happens, you find the place that you want. You just make sure you do an extended closing period there. So you're going to close in 60 or 90 days. And then we put your house on the market for 300 grand. And if it doesn't sell at 300, then we drop to 290. If it doesn't sell at 290, we drop to 280. If it doesn't sell at 280, well, then you're contracted for me that you can't drop it any further, because I got to buy it at 255 and then put fees on there and hold it and flip it. But I'm taking that risk. I've had, about a dozen people take me up on that in the last year, because we solved their problem, right? You want to have a USP that's really great. You solve the problem of what your seller is facing. If they're afraid of the market, if they're afraid of selling because they don't know about interest rates, find a 2-1 buy down for them. If they're afraid of selling because they don't know what they're going to buy, well, find the thing that they want first, but then they need to sell before they buy. Like, find that solution. Our job is to help people's problems become not problems. Let me say that again. Our job is to help people's problems become not problems. And so we have to get creative with this. The standard way of doing real estate doesn't cut it today. If you want to stand out, and I think people need us to stand out, if you want something exceptionally offered to your clients, you got to think outside the box. And if you don't have those resources, align with some people that do. So guess what? This is going to take some hard friggin' work. Sitting around and expecting the same results by doing the same things right now is insanity. We have to get more creative in this season. The time is now. We've covered 3 of the 10 ways in which you can capture more listings, and I have 7 more for you. Number 4, what does every homeowner want? It's a really simple question. What does every homeowner want? I think they want to know what their house is worth. See, if you want to strike up a conversation, you need to know what they want. They want to know what their home is worth. That text I told you about is a great way in which to do so. For you to be proactive instead of reactive on that is huge. For you to talk about market values and to tell stories through social media and through connections with people is huge. If you understand that the consumer wants to know what their home is worth, well, if they're at that point to say, what is my home worth? They have now raised their hands. That's like a buyer walking into an open house. Maybe they don't know when they're going to buy, but they're getting an idea. And so I love jumping in and starting to talk to people about what their home is worth. In fact, I was out trick-or-treating last night with my kids, and we ended up partnering up with some of my kids' classmates' families. And so I chatted with the parents, and as we're walking by, they know I'm a realtor, and they're like, what do you think this place is worth? And how about this one? Like, that place sold recently. Do you know what it sold? Like, they were just asking me about values. They wanted to know about their neighborhood. They wanted to know about their own personal house. And so I got to tell you, when people say, hey, how's the market? What they're saying is, what is my house worth? And what is it going to cost me to get into another house? Our job is to lean into that and to meet them and to be more intentional at curating those conversations. So if you could write down one note under this, is curate the conversation, get ahead of the game and start telling that story. Because if you don't tell the story, somebody else is going to tell the story for you. And right now, I don't trust the news. I don't know about you, but I don't trust the negativity that's going on right now about talking about how the market's going to crash and everything looks trash. Oh, look, that rhymed. Wasn't that fun? Okay. Number 5, play the long game. Gang, did you know that in this studio right now, it just turns into a hot box? It starts at like 68 degrees, and by the time I finish, it's like 95. So I just scrambled to turn on my fan. I feel much better now. There's a little distraction for you. Nonetheless, let's talk about number 5, play the long game. Okay. This ties back to number 4 of what your home is worth. I'm going to give you a 3-step strategy. I call this drip, drip, drip. This is the drip, drip, drip strategy to play the long game, because I think if you're looking for somebody to sell tomorrow, that's going to be really hard. It is. We have to start playing the long game of earning the trust of our clients and our friends, of earning the trust of our community, and providing consistent value. So I'm going to tell you that you need to do the drip, drip, drip. It's 3 steps for drip, drip, drip. Number 1 is you need to text bi-weekly. So let's go back to the last one, right? Every homeowner wants to know what their house is worth. So let's say you send that Zillow text out to a past client, and you say, Zillow says your home is worth $788,000. I don't know if that's accurate. Can I get you a more accurate number? The first thing you do is, if they say yes, guess what? They've now entered into drip, drip, drip. So you're going to text these people bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, you're going to send a text, and the text looks something like this. Hey, Amanda, I was just in your neighborhood recently, and I saw a new listing came up. Have you seen it yet? That's it. Hey, Amanda, the house across the street finally closed. Do you want to know what that's worth? It's like a 1 or 2 sentence conversation. Amanda, I keep checking the area and nothing has moved in your neighborhood the last month. Simple text message. But what you're saying is, I see you, I value you, I care about you. The drip, drip, drip is so important. So text bi-weekly and bring value, or strike up the conversation. Okay. Second piece, call monthly. It's the same idea of what you're texting, but now you're calling. And what I would say is, Amanda, 3 new houses across town just hit the market. I know you and Brady aren't ready to look yet at places, but I got to tell you, I think homes are starting to get priced more moderately, right? I'm just delivering value, and I'm trying to lead to show, like, I'm not going to give up. If she's like, hey, I'm not interested. Hey, I totally understand that you're not interested right now. By the way, if something amazing came on the market, would you be offended if I brought that to you? Notice that language. If something amazing came on the market, would you be offended if I brought that to you? Well, of course she's not going to be offended. And of course she wants to see something amazing. And so be careful with your language, be intentional with your language. And now once a month, you should be calling. So the drip, drip, drip is this: text every 2 weeks, call every month, face-to-face every quarter. That's hard to do for some people, but what you do is you knock on their door and you say, Amanda, hey, I was just in the neighborhood. I wanted to pop in and say, hey, I drive past your house all the time, and I just think, man, I'm so grateful for you guys. I got no agenda today. I just wanted to tell you that you're loved and appreciated. Or you say, you know what? I was just out showing houses to clients, and they saw your house and they just went like ooh and ah. I just thought I'd pop in and say hi. Like, again, you want to know how to get yourself unstuck is lead with gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful. And if you want to get more sellers, follow the drip, drip, drip. And if you're stuck on what to say, just give a gratitude text or a gratitude call or a gratitude pop by. I promise you, if you do the drip, drip, drip with your past clients in your sphere of influence, you will find yourself with way more business in the next year. I promise you that. I'll give you back your money for what you're spending on this free webinar here if it doesn't work out, but you're going to make straight cash homie. So follow the drip, drip, drip. The other side of the coin here, outside of the customized text messages and phone calls and Popeyes you're doing, the other side of the coin of playing the long game is to be a great storyteller. Your ability to tell stories on social media matters a lot. I'm going to give you more details of that later as we go, but your regular posting on social media needs to become even more regular, and to find a schedule and to commit to it. Number 6. Okay, we've covered 5. I got 5 more. I'm in time right now. I feel good about the rhythm. Those of you watching live, if you have questions or comments, feel free to post them at any given time, and don't go anywhere, because at the end of this webinar, I have something free for you that could change your business. No joke. I have the thing of all things at the end that you don't want to miss out on. But let's go to number 6 here of ways in which you can win more listings. And that is to offer them an offer from Opendoor. Now, Opendoor has essentially consumed Zillow offers. Opendoor has been on shaky ground as of late, but they are still, as I record this, a prominent company. And in a lot of large metros, Opendoor is willing to partner with realtors. Let's say you have a seller who wants to press the easy button and you don't have the resources yourself. They can sell direct to Opendoor. Your commissions aren't touched so long as you're in a contractual relationship with them. They will, in fact, pay you for that deal also, for you being the procuring cause of it. They'll pay you a 1% commission. And so you can bring your seller's house to them. Let's say you're going to list for 400, Opendoor's willing to pay 350, but your seller needs to get out of Dodge quick. They want to press the easy button and you don't have options. Well, you'll still get your 3 or your 4%. And then Opendoor pays you a 1% on that. You have opportunities in which to get a little more creative. And again, most of your competition isn't doing this. So we've covered 6. We have 4 more of ways in which you are going to capture more listings and win more listings in this changing market. Let's go to number 7. This is really simple. Don't sell. Listen. I covered it early on, is don't sell and then listen. Ask questions. Don't just tell them why you're great. Ask them what makes somebody great and then be that person for them. But I want to unpack this in a different sort of way. I want to say don't sell, listen, then redirect. So please add to your notes, then redirect. Sellers are pretty scared right now, aren't they? I mean, I think sellers are freaked out. I think they're losing their marbles, worried what's going to happen in the industry, what's happening to the value of their house, what's happening for the success of what's to come. And so as they're riddled with that kind of anxiety, we have to lean into that, don't we? Like, I think we have to lean in and make sure that we're redirecting. So as they're telling you, I'm freaked out about the market, as they're telling you, I'm scared about what's to come, as they're telling you, I don't know what the future of real estate holds, and I don't know if now is a good time for me in which to sell, don't fight them on it. I promise you, your argumentative nature is not going to deliver what needs to be accomplished. Their fear is their fear, and you cannot fight emotion with logic. Does that make sense? It should make sense. I hope is that you can't fight these things with logic, even though it makes sense to you. Their truth is their truth, and so your job is to listen to their fear and then redirect. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I understand that you have some hesitations about the timing in the market right now and the uncertainty. Help me again. Why were you interested in selling in the first place? It is a simple redirect. Refresh me again of why you had it on the map for you to sell. Well, I want to get closer to my kids, or we have a new job or a growing family. Like, it's death, divorce, diamonds, diplomas, disability, all these things that lead to people wanting to sell. And so our job is to listen and then redirect to get back to the thing, the catalyst that had them thinking about selling in the first place, that had them at that point in that precipice to say, I need to get out of this house. With all that being said, your job is to be a great listener, but then to redirect and reframe and remind them of why they wanted to look in the first place. That is the fuel in your conversation with them. You talking about market values is not the fuel. But we're going to go to number 8. That gives you some other things of tools. We only have 3 more, gang. So we are going to get you out of here in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But right now, number 8, for the love of God, stop complaining. I mean it. For the love of God, stop complaining. For us as realtors, nobody feels sorry for us. We don't even feel sorry for each other. We just feel sorry for ourselves. We have to stop complaining, because that story becomes the news. It becomes the energy that we bring. It becomes the defeated minds. If I feel like I've already lost, I'm not going to play the game. I went to my agents at Hatch Realty a couple of weeks ago, and I said, guys, is this a good time to sell your house right now? And they're like, well, I mean, not really. I mean, like, prices are high and interest rates are high. I'm like, guys, the things you've complained about the last 2.5 years are no longer here. You complained about you couldn't win on an inspection, or you couldn't even do an inspection. You complained that you had to go through multiple offers and that you had to make a decision in 45 minutes, and you complained and you complained and you complained. Turns out we just complain. It doesn't matter what we're complaining about. We just complain, and we got to stop that crap. Our clients pick up on that. Is this a good time to buy right now? Hell yeah, it is. Homes aren't rapidly increasing in price, so it's stable. You don't have to rush. You don't have to run. And then, as cheesy as this is, as overused as this is, you marry the house and you date the rate. If interest rates drop, hey, I know some mortgage officers out there right now that will refi for free within the next couple of years. Why wouldn't you jump on that? You just stink as a storyteller, because your negative story right here is tough. And then, gang, I asked my agents at Hatch Realty, I said, well, if it's not a good time to buy, is it a good time to sell? And here's what they said. Well, I mean, you kidding me? This is an incredible time to sell. Compared to 6 months ago, this is not a good time to sell. Right? 6 months ago, sellers had it way better than they have it now. But what about over the last 5 years? Look at that perspective over the last 5 years. I'm gonna pull up on my screen here. You need to see this. This comes from Keeping Current Matters. This is the change in home value in properties over the last 5 years. You should hit that print screen button on your keyboard right now and save this image. This is how much homes have appreciated from September 2017 to September 2022. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is this a good time to sell right now? Well, let's take a look. If you live in Texas, your home has appreciated on average 63.6% over the last 5 years. So if your home is worth $500,000 today, that house appreciated 63%. So that means that 5 years ago, that house is worth what? 300? Don't even check my math on this, but let's say that house is worth 300 back in the day. In fact, that's pretty accurate. Your house is worth $300,000 5 years ago, and now fast forward 60 months, and it's worth $500,000. That, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you made $200,000 in the last 5 years. You've made on average over $3,000 a month just living in your house. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you believe this is a good time to sell right now? Yes or yes? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So Andy says, what are we doing wrong up in North Dakota? 28%. Gang, this is the boring train here that goes around the amusement park. The boring train. Folks, did you know that we don't crash? In 2008 to 2011, we had 1 year in which our market crashed in North Dakota. It dropped 1.25%. Your money's safe up here. So our narrative is different. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, homes are not inflated like you think they are in North Dakota. If you're in Idaho, you're up 128%. So is now a good time to sell? Oh, heck yeah, it is. Your home's worth double what it was worth 5 years ago. Talk about wins in dollars with sellers. Talk about losses in percentages. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your home is selling right now for about 97% of what it would have sold for 6 months ago. But your home is appreciated in value $200,000 over the last 5 years. That's the logic. Your job is to take the money and make it emotional. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what would you do with $200,000 right now? What would that solve in your life? What ease would that create? All right. Start asking about the purpose behind it. And when you find the heart of it, you'll have the signatures to go along with it. Okay. Just 2 more. We have 2 more, and then I got something so free for you. It's going to change your business. I promise you. Number 9, we have to get ahead of the market. And that's tough to do because we don't know where the market's going. But number 9 is we have to get ahead of the market. That means we need to price correctly. It is so difficult to price a home in today's market because we know what happened yesterday. We kind of get an idea of what's happening today, but we don't know what's happening tomorrow. So our job is not to be Miss Cleo with a crystal ball and predict it, but to use as much data as possible and then to guess. We forget what happened back before the market was what it is now. We used to put listing price. Some of you don't even remember this, but we used to put listing prices on homes. And that was like, man, I hope we can get that price. The last 2.5 years has been different. It's like, well, that's the starting bid, like on eBay. But back in my day, I've been selling real estate for 16 years now. And back in my day, we used to put a listing price of $400,000 on a property. And we hoped someone would want it for $400,000. And if it didn't sell, then we had to get the price reduction. And that's tough. I see price reductions right now of $3,000 and $5,000. And I got to tell you, you need to do, if you want to be serious about this, you need to do a price reduction of a minimum of 5%. It's pretty scary. But one of the questions I ask every seller in sitting in a listing appointment is I'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 me being meek and 10 me being brutally honest, how honest do you want me to be in this relationship? And everybody's going to say 8, 9, or 10. I promise you. Some will say, well, I don't want you to, hit me with a hammer with it, but I do want the truth. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's my commitment that I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is right now that when we list your house, I can't tell you what it's going to sell for. I'm going to give you as much data as I can. And we have to agree to be nimble and move early on. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you agree with me that we need to be nimble and move quickly in order to try to not be behind the market and to hope to not chase it? Yes, we agree. Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have a stat that I need you to remember. 85% of buyers will see your home in the first 10 days that I list your property. They'll drive by, they'll see it online. Their realtor will introduce it to you. They'll maybe go to an open house. 85% of all buyers, they'll see your house in the first 10 days we have it listed. Does that feel fairly accurate to you? Yeah, I guess I can see that. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is going to be uncomfortable. You told me I have permission to speak frankly with you. If your house doesn't sell in 10 days, we have to reduce the price. Well, why do we have to reduce the price? 85% of buyers are going to see your house in the first 10 days. And if they don't come and if they don't write an offer, they say they don't like the price. You can change the house or you can change the price or you can change the market. And I don't know how to change the house and I don't know how to change the market, but I do know how to change the price. And I promise you, if you price it right, if you don't get it right the first time, we need to get it right the second time and listen to what the market is saying. And so in this contract here, as we sign, I'm going to ask that you agree to a price reduction in 10 days if we don't get an offer on your property. For some people, that is fundamentally, oh crap, I can't ever do that because I'm afraid of having hard conversations. but have the hard conversation in the beginning, because one of the differentiation factors, one of your USPs, is the fact that the other agents aren't doing this. The other agents are over-promising and under-delivering. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let's take a look at a couple of houses that have sat on the market right now, and let's see why they aren't selling. Let's pull it up. I'll pull up my computer right here. Let's pull up why these homes aren't selling. Let's take a look. How's the marketing? Okay. How's the pricing? How's the strategy? Why hasn't this home sold? It's similar to yours. And they're going to look and they're going to say, well, they stayed stuck on their price. Maybe the marketing's trash too, and you can throw that under the bus. But ultimately, get them to see that they need to reduce price and then get that contracted ahead of time. That one little gift will help you sell a handful more houses this next year, I promise you. Your sitting, dusty inventory is terrible for you and for your sellers. Regardless of what you think you need to do, the faster a home sells, the more money the seller's going to make. They maybe don't like the truth, but our job is to deliver the truth. 10 out of 10, brutal honesty. You want to win more listings? Be brutally honest with your sellers. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't tell them this is going to be easy, but tell them, I'm here to ride along this journey with you. I am not going to let you fall. I'm not going to let you down. Heather wanted that graphic. I'm going to put that graphic up one more time, and I'll see if Jess on my team can email that out also. So let me share my screen one more time. I want you to see that graphic. You got that, gang? Can you see it? Can you screenshot it? Again, it comes from Keeping Current Matters. Sources FHFA. It's a good one. You just need your own state too, or the states that you represent. What if you don't even want to use this graphic? Just go into your MLS and take a look at what the stats were in September. Now it's November. So you look at October 2017 average sales price for the year versus 2022's average sales price in October. Gina asked this question. I'm going to bounce back here before I get to number 10. And then I have this free gift for you that you are going to love. Gina says this. What did I mean if I say, if I can't sell your house, I'll sell it for free? I used to do this as one of my USPs back in the day. I got away from it, but I'll say, hey, if I can't sell your house, I'll sell it for free. You just need to agree to terms and conditions. And here's the term and condition is we list at 100% list price. If it doesn't sell in 10 days, we drop 5%. If it doesn't sell in 30 days, we drop another 5%. If it doesn't sell in 30 more days, we drop another 5%. And then if after that, you call the shots, but I'm working for free. Do I think that I can sell a house for 85 cents on the dollar? Even in a changing market where I don't know where the price is? Yeah, I do. And I'll sell for free all day long if a seller has to drop down to 85 cents on the dollar. My commission is waived in that. And so I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on the pricing and the strategy that I know. Do I think that first 5% is going to get it sold? Maybe not, but that next 5% probably will. And if you're about to work for free, you may work a little bit harder. And frankly, we should be working harder for our sellers. That finally brings me to number 10 is to be the news. Number 10, write that out, be the news. Okay. Here it is. Here's how most people tell stories. It looks like this. I got to tell you the story of Amanda and Brady. Amanda and Brady contacted me to list their house, and they were really fearful that the market was going to be tough. And we put their house on the market, and it didn't sell after 10 days. And so we reduced price, and then wow, did traffic pick up. Within 25 days, we got an offer that they were excited about, and we got them on to their next chapter. And so now Amanda and Brady and their 3 kids are living in a new part of town, and they're so excited about it. That's how we tell stories. We tell stories in a linear fashion. That is called ABC. ABC is the order in which we are the news. I want to challenge your storytelling to change it to BAC, to CAB, to CBA. So it looks like this. It only took 25 days to have my clients' dreams come true. Amanda and Brady were interested in selling their house. They wanted to move to another part of town, and so we put their house on the market. After some intentional strategy sessions and just 25 days on the market, we got them moved, and now everything is so much better for their family. That's a CAB delivery. Or you change the delivery. and you say, selling your house is so unbelievably stressful. It's why I've lost almost all my hair. My client, right? I start with the climax. I start with the fear. I start with the anxiety that's there. That will grab so much more attention than saying Amanda and Brady were looking to sell their house, right? So change the language, change the structure. And in order to do so, in order to be the news, you need to role play this out. Practice your storytelling. How are you going to communicate to your sellers? How are you going to communicate to social media? And how much are you practicing your ability to do this? Remember, number 8 was, for the love of God, stop complaining. If you want to sell more houses, you need to stop complaining. You need to get rid of that narrative that everything is bad. Everything is not bad. Everything is ripe with opportunity. Those are my 10, gang. I have a question here from Mark. He says, what do you tell sellers that want to either pull a home off or wait until spring? Mark lives in Minnesota. It's a typical better market in the Midwest. So many unknowns right now. I don't tell my sellers what to do for that kind of strategy. I just advise them with the information that I know. Amanda, it is less traffic that your house is going to see in the winter, but did you know that actually the buyers are much more serious? If they're going to be leaving their house and going out in the cold, they're much more serious about seeing your property. And actually, homes get viewed more in December, January, and February online than any other months of the year. When January 1st strikes, people magically have this new energy to them. It doesn't matter the part of the country that you live in, they have this new energy that it's New Year's, new opportunities. Do you want to be that house that is still available for them for new opportunities? Or do you want to get thrown into the shuffle in the spring? Because there's positives and negatives to both. And my job is to just simply support what's best for you. Does that help, Mark? I hope that helps. So gang, I promise you something free. I got something free for you. You see this book right here, the blue book? It's called The Perfect Real Estate Agent Blueprint. My partner, Robbie T, and I wrote it. It is literally the guide that will get you through this changing market. It is the piece de resistance that is going to help you win so mightily. I have so many giant wins for you, and it's there in the book. A blueprint for how you win, a way in which you can walk away with so many big ahas and takeaways. And I'm going to give it to you for free. Yep, free is the book. All you need to do is go over to the Instagrams, as the kids call it. Go over to Instagram, and you need to find me at Real Erik Hatch. I typed it there in the chat box. Those of you that are watching the replay, it's Real Erik, E-R-I-K, Hatch. Real Erik Hatch. DM me your email on Instagram. When you DM that to me, that'll trigger us getting you a free promotional code for the Perfect Real Estate Agent Blueprint. Retails for $20. We're giving it away for free. We're just asking that you pay shipping and handling so it covers our costs in this. And that's it. We're going to give you the book for free because right now we are in some massive pressure. This industry is challenging. It is riddled with opportunities, but I want to help you to win. And so please go over to Instagram. Follow along. I do a whole bunch of value pieces in there, but DM me at Real Erik Hatch with your email address, and I will hook you up. Also, next week, 7 days from now, those of you watching live, Robbie T and I are going to be unpacking the blueprints. We're going to give you 60 minutes of the highest amount of value you can. Oh, excuse me, burping up my lunch, having the highest amount of value you can possibly have with that. So we have another free webinar coming up next week. So watch for that. And then finally, Robbie T has a boot camp coming up in December, all about converting leads in this current weather market season that we are at. So we have so much value coming at you. If you have any interest in partnering or aligning with us at Hatch Coaching, if you have anything that you want that will help you to grow, if you want to learn more about Real, just reach out to me again at Real Erik Hatch over on the Instagrams. So with that, if you have some questions, type them out now. I'm going to leave the record button on because there's sometimes really great conversations that happens in the questions. I see I have to get to one right now. If you're just done with me, thanks for tuning in. Much love. We'll keep bringing value to you. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hatch Coaching, as well. Andy has this question. He says, how do you pivot a conversation with a know-it-all who's not buying or selling because of blank? Andy, I don't think you can. It's a great question and it's a valid question, but If somebody has their mind made up, you can't fight them on it. Your job would be the great redirect to go back to saying, what has you looking to buy or sell right now? Anyways, they're fighting you on the truth that they believe is the truth. And you can't get into a keyboard battle with people. You can't get into a face-to-face battle. Your job is to listen and then remind them of what's important. What I would say is, boy, it sounds like your mind is really made up. Does it sound like you're not going to move then? Right. I would just hold a mirror up and be like, ooh, yeah, you're pretty passionate about this. I can certainly respect that. So what needs to change in order for you to move? Just try to bring it back to what has them motivated in the first place. Andy, does that help? Let me know if that helps. Paul says, thanks so much, Erik. Great info and really appreciate it. It is my pleasure. It is so fun for me to do these. Robbie T and myself and Connor Johnson, we're all committed to bringing a ton of value on these. So we're going to be doing more and more webinars, especially in this season where people are needing more help and guidance. Andy, glad it helped. Much love to you. This is my final call for questions. Anybody else have a pressing question? Holly tells me that I'm rocking it and she loves the book. Holly has followed this model now and was growing a big team, lots of expenses, now shrunk down to a micro team, which is what we talk about in the Perfect Real Estate Agent Blueprint. It started to change her world, and I'm so glad to have you in my life, Holly. Okay, gang, final call. Any questions, anything we can do to help you grow? Otherwise, Robbie T and I are back next week. Make sure you sign up for that webinar and we'll keep bringing as much value as possible. Oh, a couple more people hopped in. Okay. Andy already has the book, hasn't finished reading it yet. Well, glad it holds all your drinks on your coffee table, Andy. That's helpful. All right, gang, I'm out of here. Much love. We'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. My name's Erik Hatch. Have a beautiful one.